Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Professor Anime, and welcome back to yet again another Inuyashiki episode review. This is going to be on episode 5 of Inuyashiki, so without further ado, let us jump into it. So with this episode of Inuyashiki, we had a episode dedicated to Hiro. Pretty much we got to see a different side of Hiro than what we are normally used to seeing, from the series of Inuyashiki with Hiro. Now, we did end up getting, a few scenes with Inuyashiki, but this was mainly an episode that was dedicated to, Hiro's perspective on things and also just learning a little bit more about his character. And what we learn about in this episode about Hiro is that it's not that he doesn't necessarily care for all life, it's just that he doesn't care for a life that isn't really relevant to him. Because in this episode, we see Hiro actually show emotion in this episode, especially when he begins to cry, over finding out that his mother has pancreatic cancer. He is able to cure her, of course, but still, the initial reaction of, hearing someone who has, cancer and, or just any type of illness for that matter, honestly, you are going to be completely devastated, especially when it's someone really close to you. And in this episode, we saw Hiro cry. He does, in fact, have human emotions, and he deeply does care about his mother, and also regarding his father and the, step family that he visited before he came back to his mother's house after school. He even, spent a few good hours with them and stuff, and he really does care for them as well. And even in episode 3, or it was either episode 2, where we first got to see Hiro's friend for the very first time, and we obviously saw the connection between those two individuals. Hiro really did care about his friend, and honestly, wanted him to come back to school, was willing to actually try to motivate him to come back. And from the episode where it left off, where the two ended up splitting ways, in a way it actually did devastate Hiro, and that is where we saw, him walk into a family directly after they broke up and completely, shoot another family. So when it comes down to Hiro as a character, he is definitely a psychotic individual indeed, but it's not so much of the matter is that he doesn't care about life whatsoever. In fact, Hiro does care about life, but only when it is relevant to him. Everything that revolves around Hiro is what matters to him. So necessarily, he does not consider all life on equal footings, with each other. While on the other hand, we have Inuyashiki, who considers all life to be equal. He risks his life to save everyone he possibly can. Every life is worth saving, every life is worth giving a second chance, etc. However, when it comes down to Hiro, if you ain't, friends with this guy or have some, social bond with, and he doesn't think you of high importance to his life, then you are pretty much cut out of the picture from his life, and therefore you're completely axed off. But as I stated before, again, from this episode, we saw a little bit of, just some human emotions from Hiro that we never have seen before, in the series of Inuyashiki, and we did get to see the love and appreciation he has for his family and what he is willing to go through to go for his family. I mean, when his mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, he cured her and was even willing to, pretty much move to a different, expensive, more comfortable living lifestyle for her and support her until the very end. He basically said that you no longer have to support me. I will be the one supporting you. But we already know where he was getting the money for that in order to pay for this type of stuff, for his mother. He stole this money in order to do this. So even though he might have good intentions, at the same time, he is still stealing this money to, support his mother. But it's still stealing. while he has good intentions, he still does not clearly understand what is right, what is wrong, and simply just does not care about, you know, breaking the law in general, which is one of the classifications for a psychopath. And then, of course, by the end of this episode, we see that Hiro seems as though he wants to change his ways, you know, from the actions that he has committed, you know, with killing people throughout the series of Inuyashiki so far, and he starts to, you know, really think about the future he and his, you know, what he wants for his mother and himself. And he says, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to be killing anyone anymore. And right where we, you know, are about to possibly see a change from Hiro, it seems as though that his friend, you know, with the help of Inuyashiki as well, was actually able to catch Hiro. They find out on who exactly he is. They get there's a knock on the door, and apparently it happens to be the, I believe it was the Public Security Intelligence Agency, which is kind of like, you know, the Japanese equivalent to America's FBI. I could be completely wrong on that. It was probably something else that was introduced, but more or less, you know, who appeared at Hiro's door was an equivalent to the FBI, so to speak, in Japan. And they pretty much put him to the ground and, you know, have a nice good hold of him. However, as we know, what is bound to happen in the next episode, just judging, you know, how Hiro is, what he is capable of, there is no chance in hell that, you know, he's gonna, you know, give these guys a clean slate. Like, they're most likely all going to die. They're jumping on top of him as soon as he goes berserk. You know, we're gonna see lasers shoot out of their backs and stuff, and then he is going to run away. The mother is probably going to eventually find out on, you know, who exactly her son is, and he's honestly probably gonna be all over the news now, because now the Japanese equivalent to the FBI knows on who he actually is. So, and then there's also Hiro's friend who is helping out Inuyashiki and also helping him, in a way, get better control and acquainted with his powers. It seems as though they are training for the upcoming fight that we could possibly see later down in the series with, you know, good versus evil, Inuyashiki versus Hiro. So, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this, for how the series has been progressing so far. I really like, you know, the kind of philosophical tone of, you know, good versus evil, what it means to be human, you know, especially with the scene with Inuyashiki meeting Hiro's friend for the very first time, and Hiro's friend basically tells Inuyashiki that you are more human than anyone I have ever met. You might be designed to be a killing machine just like Hiro, but your actions speak volumes. You are more human than all the humans that I have met, and that is what I love. That is what I love in my shows. I love that shit. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, what you guys thought about this episode of Inuyashiki. What did you think about the dynamic between Hiro and Inuyashiki? You know, just what do you think about Hiro as an individual, and do you have any predictions for the next episode of Inuyashiki? Let me know in the comments down below. My voice is starting to run dry, so I'm gonna head on out of here. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that red subscribe button if you want to see more. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next episode. I need a glass of water.